mouth breathing is actually causing stress for us. What everybody should strive for is actually to change to doing this and speaking like that and speaking and speaking. You see, I'm still talking on that first inhale that I took through my nose, and I still have enough air, and I'm about to run out, and now I'm going to inhale. So you see, when you do them when you breathe in through the nose, it goes down to the stomach, so you actually have much more air to speak. But you got to change. The number one problem is get rid of the mouth breathing. You will be closer to your own being through your own breathing like never before.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
Is this you? Low energy, low libido, no get up and go? Boost your testosterone naturally and rev up your engine with Immense Boost. bit.ly/CryptoRichBoost and order your testosterone boost today. Hey Theodore, thank you so much for making yourself available.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to remind the world about that everyone is breathing.
Everyone is breathing.
Everybody's breathing, yeah.
Everybody's
not a breathing guy.
Yes. Now, we're going to get into that, right? But you come to me highly recommended by someone whose opinion and value I value their opinion. And it's not the sort of video that I normally do, because I cover crypto and I cover politics and macroeconomics and money and gold and silver and Bitcoin. I have done a few health videos, especially since lockdown, because there was a certain medical intervention that was all the rage. And I'm very proud to say, and I hope you're impressed, I didn't have that medical intervention. There was no bloody way I was going to have that medical intervention. So I have done a few videos about health, and this is about health, and this is about breathing, because you're a breathing coach, you invented a breathing process and everything. And we're going to find out all about it, and I'll have all your links. You're the founder of formula.life, and you've also got feodorebreathing.tech, TECH is your website, and people can find out more from you there and your X profile. But come on, Fyodor. You'll notice that I'm breathing. I don't need to be trained. I was born breathing. I go swimming, I breathe. I wake up, I breathe. I'm so good at breathing. I breathe while I sleep. What do I need a breathing coach for?
Okay, I tell you, you're going to probably rewatch this video, and everybody who's going to be watching, just pay attention when Rich is speaking. He's doing this one all the time. Yes. So every time you speak, you actually do the mouth inhale, okay? And there has been a lot of research done lately, especially in James Nestor's book. That's the biggest one to date, where they have done so much research. Mouth breathing is actually causing stress for us. And and everybody who's going to watch, including you, what everybody should strive for is actually to change to doing this and speaking like that and speaking and speaking. You see, I'm still talking on that first inhale that I took through my nose, and I still have enough air, and I'm about to run out, and now I'm going to inhale. So you see, when you do them when you breathe in through the nose, it goes down to the stomach, so you actually have much more air to speak. And in the mouth, you don't have any filters. So coming back to what you said about the intervention during the time back in 2019, hey, I didn't do any of that too.
Good.
You know what? Yeah, and you know what? Everybody around me got sick, but at that time I just certified in Buteyko, and my coach, because I was already doing breathwork for 4 years before I certified. And the first thing my coach said, she said, what I'm telling you and everybody who's watching, you got to get rid of that. Before you do anything, you got to fix that. So I fixed that in 1 month. And I've been traveling all over Europe. I have been traveling to Ukraine. I was in Russia. I was everywhere traveling and breathing through my nose. And I did not get that thing that we don't want to talk about. But everybody else was getting it. Why? Well, I have my own opinion. First of all, if someone sneezes or coughs or someone is sick next to you and you do that, you have no nitric oxide, which is generated only in the nose. And the nitric oxide gas burns all bacteria and virus. Okay, so when you do that, and everybody's doing that, that's much easier to get infected. The other bit, which no one talked about, not a single one, was the consumption of alcohol during that time. I quit 11 years ago, and since I've quit alcohol, I have not once had a seasonal flu or any, of those things that I used to have when I was drinking. And I was wondering, why did they not say to people like avoid drink? Everybody was drinking so much when people were in lockdown.
Yeah.
You know, that's a fact. People were drinking more than usual. So I think that combination, you know, made me, you know, well, kept me actually healthy. I did eventually get it. At the very last, like, it was already over everywhere. I lost just a sense of smell.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is, I know exactly where I got it. It was ridiculous because I was crossing the border from Russia into Ukraine, and this was 2021, the summer of 2021.
Mhm.
And I was in Moscow and made my test so that I could cross the border. I paid for it, and everything was fine. I was clear. I didn't have it. I'm crossing the border, and at the border, they've put up a special van on the Ukrainian side, and they told me, no, this test is not valid here. Here you have to go and make our test and pay for that. And everybody was like, what? And there was a huge queue of people, you know, trying to get this test. And in that queue, that's where I got it. That's the next day I lost my sense of smell and taste because, you know, I guess like, yeah, it had to happen, which was a wonderful experience in itself because I think actually, I don't know if we can talk about it.
Well, I want to stick to breathing because the problem with you and I noticed this the other day when we met, we could talk about lots and lots of other stuff, but I want to keep this focused on breathing.
Yeah,
right?
but it is related. It is related because you know what? Because I'm a breathing coach and because I specialize in like a higher states of consciousness, which are based on the breath, I was able to track down how that thing started to work in my body.
Mhm.
Okay, and you know what? You can call me conspiracy or whatever, but I felt that it was like it was like a robot because I felt something. I know my body. I know my breathing mechanism. I know my lungs. I know everything. I have more than 3,000 of hours of breathing. You know, which I counted since I started in 2016. So I know every single thing that is not right in my body. I can feel it because I know my body. So I was laying there and suddenly I felt something is wrong. Something is going and trying. I felt something in my stomach first. Some discomfort. And you have to think like I'm breathing every single day consciously. So every night, every morning, sometimes during the noon siesta time, I do my practice every single day since 2016. So I feel that something is wrong. And it tried at several places, this thing inside of me. And I'm in meditation. I can feel something is off. And then it got up to my nose and there it got me. So I lost the sense of smell, but it tried like it was as if it was some kind of a, you know, I don't know, a robot. I don't know what to call it. It just tried different places and it got me into the loss of smell. And that's it. I lost it. Okay, so that's my experience with it. I experienced it firsthand how it was working, how it tried to, you know, penetrate the different areas in my body, and then it got its hook there, and it got what it wanted, basically. Okay,
Right.
so that's it.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You now have natural immunity, and thank you for what you said about mouth breathing because I do know a little bit that mouth breathing isn't good for you, and I didn't know that I was doing it while I'm talking, and I just noticed that I did it again. Right?
Yeah, everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it, right? And we're
Yeah.
going that way. Okay, so just on that, what's the difference in terms of our physical and emotional and mental health that nose breathing makes versus mouth breathing?
Okay, so first of all, the nose is one of the most complicated and sophisticated organs in the body. Okay, has more than 20 functions. The main function is it produces the nitric oxide. It's a gas. It filters, it warms, it softens everything, you know, that comes through the nose. So, and it also increases the oxygen intake into the cells by up to 20%. So that's very important. Also, when you breathe through the nose, automatically you send the air down in your stomach. Okay, so it automatically calms you down. Where when you do that, you send the air into the chest and you affect the sympathetic nervous system. So you actually stress yourself all the time, you know. And what I'm striving for when I'm teaching and all my courses and everything is about, you know, changing the people's habits, the breathing habit, because everybody can meditate today. Everybody can do breathing practices and all sorts of practices. Yes, but they need to go and actually do them. And that's just 1% of the 24 hours that you have. Okay, or maybe a little bit more. The rest of the time we are on the phone, we're in meetings, we're talking, we're running around, we're stressing, you know, so all of that time is lost. So if you, any of you who are watching, if you are into meditation, mindfulness, or whatever, if you haven't fixed your mouth breathing, all of that, you can literally flush it down the drain because it's not going to work for you. And that's the problem. That's why it doesn't work for most people, and they give up mindfulness and meditation because they say, well, I didn't really feel any effect. Yeah, because you don't do it enough time. People don't have patience. They want, fast results. But you got to change. The number one problem is get rid of the mouth breathing. Okay? I'm the best person in the world to do that because I've changed my mother. That's my pitch in my best-selling course to eliminate mouth breathing. I actually managed to change her because you know what? This bad breathing habit of the mouth, this is, we gained it from our parents.
Mhm.
And this is the first habit that we gain as human beings. When we are an infant, we come out, we're breathing through the nose actually.
Mhm.
And then we start to develop consciousness and we start to gain the first habit. And the first habit, because when we come out, we start breathing. That is the first physical habit that we gain as human beings. That's crazy, but that is.
Mhm.
And that is one which is the most difficult to change because maybe for 30 or 40 years, we've been breathing like that all the time. So it's going to take some time for you to readjust your muscle memory and the physical, because it's all about physical, to actually change it.
Mhm.
But it's possible, and every human being on this planet should absolutely do that one thing, change from mouth breathing to nose breathing, and then you'll see what happens.
Okay. Now you've said what's great about nose breathing.
Mm-hmm. Now, can I give you a feedback?
Yep.
We want it to be quiet. The reason why I'm making a sound is that you and everybody who's watching hear that I'm doing it, but the real art of breathing is actually silence, slowing down. Yogis breathe 1 breath cycle per minute. So we want to make it, if we do it so strong, like this one, we will actually cause unnecessary stress and it can cause headaches here. So we want it to be natural because it's a symphony, it's a melody. It's like the ocean.
Okay.
It's like the wave, a vibration that goes up and down. It should be silent, like I'm doing it. It's okay to breathe in through the nose and mouth at the same time. For example, when I run or jog, I recommend to breathe in through both because you need to balance your para and your sympathetic system together. And you do that by breathing in and out. But all the rest of the time, you should always just be in your nose because that's what it's made for, to breathe.
Okay, so I can see there's a whole lot more to this breathing.
Absolutely.
Already, right?
Yes.
So what's the disadvantage of mouth breathing?
The disadvantage of mouth breathing. Let's go and start with the childhood, okay?
Mhm.
This is what we've had in our course and when I was certified in Buteyko. Patrick McEwen, who I certified with, is an ambassador for Buteyko method and the elimination of mouth breathing. And the number one disadvantage that we get as children, we have a cranial deformation and crooked teeth. If you see, I have very ugly teeth here,
Mhm.
but they're not as ugly as they used to be. I wish I could show you an old picture of mine. They were all crooked. I had them straightened out
Mhm.
before they were all crooked. That's because of mouth breathing in children. It's scientifically proven. We also have a problem with the jaw. So if you're a mouth breather from childhood, your jaw will be here. You will be looking like Simpson, you know?
Mhm.
And that's just the beginning of it. Why did I get into breathing?
Mm.
You don't know that. But just to give you a heads up, it's because I have been diagnosed with something called AS. It's ankylosing spondylitis, rheumatoid arthritis, which is considered incurable by the mainstream medicine.
Spondylitis is the curvature of the spine, right?
Ankylosing spondylitis is an inflammation. It's a rheumatoid arthritis. It's an inflammatory disease where the cells attack each other.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, it took me, I was diagnosed in 2012. I was put on medication. I wrote a book about it. I have a book about it. I'm not going to go into details. Now, since 2012, we have 2025 now. I started my very first breathing exercise in the beginning of 2016. I've done thousands of hours of my breathing, and breathing has given me awareness. It has given me a vision to see myself. That's what it does. All the top meditation and all the top spiritual practices, they lead you only back to you.
Mm.
So what did I see? The ankylosing spondylitis is a I tracked it down to be a digestive issue, first and foremost. Okay? Now, if you think about, if you've been, not you, but let's talk about, I've been traumatized, okay? Like a trauma, mother-related trauma. My mother was shaming me, and she was never happy with me, and I was never good enough, okay? Plus the bad breathing habit. So my mother, her mother, the whole family was always just, breathing like that, always hyper, always high energy, always yelling, then smoking, then drinking, yelling, smoking, drinking, and so on and so forth. So that is the habit that I've been growing up with. And I've been breathing through my mouth all the time. And when you breathe through the mouth, you're causing unnecessary stress here, which affects your digestion. And when you cannot digest things properly, all the problems start. Okay? So that is the biggest problem with me, with the mouth breathing, because I tracked it down. I got the first habit of having bad breathing, right? And then the external environment, because we are shaped by external environment and not the genes. Yeah, genes do have an effect, but Bruce Lipton has proven scientifically that we are shaped by the environment. And the environment is our parents and the people that tell us about the world, of what it is, what it's like, what's good, what's bad, from the day that we come out of our mothers, okay? So, bad mouth breathing can cause, well, Buteyko, he claimed that he could, by changing, and moving away from mouth breathing, increasing the control pause and breathing less, that he could cure hypertension and 180 other symptoms. Because the number one cause of, disease is stress. And mouth breathing is causing stress. But because we have all been through our own individual environment as we were growing up, we all have different parents, different environment, different kind of traumas, yeah? But if we all breathe and cause if the stress just comes from here, but because of the build and the environment, it can become one of these 180 different conditions. But the cause is one. Does that make sense? Yep. Because we're all breathing. All of us, we have this thing in common. We are all breathing, right? But because of the environment and our build, the way that we grew up and been shaped as humans, and our consciousness and all of that, we can have these different symptoms, okay? So physical, as I mentioned, teeth, cranial deformation. There are famous pictures on Google. If you Google mouth breathing, crooked teeth, and cranial deformation, you will see this famous experiment. No, it's not an experiment. A research with this beautiful boy whose face completely changed, by the time he reached the teenagehood. Okay, and then all sorts of different diseases. Like in my case, it's AS. I'm in total remission, by the way, thanks to breathing. First of all, I had a frozen shoulder also, but it's all related to. So I eliminated mouth breathing. That's one thing. The other thing, my method, as you presented me, first I founded my method. Mm-hmm. My method is, it helps you become silent, because I was talking negative to myself. Mm-hmm. And the first problem that I solved was actually stop my mind from thinking, to get inner silence. And that's what I specialized in. Before even, getting rid of my mouth breathing. So as I mentioned, I was breathing already for 4 years. And when I did the practice, yes, I was breathing through the nose, breathing out from my mouth. It was all good. But that was only during the practice. The rest of the time, I was involved in tech. I had a hot startup. I was on the phone. I was talking to employees. I was talking with everybody. And I was breathing really bad. So, I would do the practice. I would feel good there. But the rest of the time, I would ruin it with my mouth breathing. Mm. Okay? So, another thing is, as I mentioned, only the nose cools the air down or warms it. So let's say that let's say it's cold outside, and you do the mouth breathing. You have absolutely no filter. You have nothing to warm the air. So you can get sick. You can get flu very easily because you are not warming the air. You can get sore throat. That's why everybody's getting it. Because they're just breathing that, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that warms the air. So those are the disadvantages, of shifting to the nose.
Okay.
But there's just so many. Like, it's hard to believe, like, how can such a thing have such an impact? But it is really that simple.
Fido, it makes complete sense. You will agree with me that water is essential. We can probably go a few days without water. How long can we go without oxygen? A few minutes?
Well, there are some who can extend it to 20, but you're absolutely right. And all the breathing gurus out there saying the same thing. Everybody's repeating the same thing. I want to add to that. It has scientifically been proven or calculated that an average human has about 700 million breath cycles through an average human life. That's all. Okay? So if we can, and we can measure that. So in my world, what does it mean? It means that between every inhale from the birth and every exhale, life happens.
Yes.
Life happens between every single of those 700 million plus. Some have more, some have less. We don't know how many we have. Life happens. Now, what is life for us? Well, it's feeling. It's imagining. It's making love. It's cooking. It's raising children. It's working, making money, making love, going to the toilet, sleeping, dreaming. It's all of it. It happens there. So obviously, I mean, I hope that's proof enough for you.
Yeah. No.
So does it make sense if I say that, well, if you really want to have an impact on your life, that the only way you really can see what's happening in your life is to look in what's happening between the inhale and the exhale, right?
Yep.
The only thing is why most people will not kind of make it work is because it takes a long time. That is the truth. It takes a long time. It's not instant gratification that we are used to, that we want now. Why? Because let's say that I'm now 43. So for 40 years or less, I've been breathing wrong, and my life has been like this and like that. Why would anyone want to change their life? In my case, I didn't want to be sick. Just to give you a heads up, sometimes I couldn't walk. Sometimes my leg didn't work. I couldn't get up. Okay? And I thought, what's the point of me trying to become, be successful? Because that was my plan. And my breathing led, actually, I lost a startup. I didn't mention it, but I lost 12 million pounds of, investments, of my angels' investments in a startup. And I had a near-death experience, and that got me kind of into breathing. So I had a very expensive, learning curve, but I thought, what's the point of me becoming successful if I can't walk? Because when I was building the startup, sometimes I couldn't walk. So I had a real big reason to change my life. I just wanted to be healthy. I wanted to figure out, why is it happening with me? And I have. But to do that, you got to look into what's happening between your inhale and exhale. Life is happening. Who is maybe there are some toxic people who are making you sick. Most likely there are. That's like in most cases, because that is the environment. Maybe you're eating bad food. Most likely you are. I'm talking about me. Maybe you're breathing wrong. Yes. Okay. All of that, it takes time. And because you've done it for 40 years wrong, to me, it's very logical that you got to give it another 40 years to turn it around. So just to give you, this is like a long-term game. Okay. This will take time, but it works. And every single time that you work with the breath and you look into that, you change it bits by bits by bits, you track it down, and eventually you will see the results. It just takes more time than we are used to. So
no, I can get that. So I just stopped there because I caught myself.
That's okay. Listen,
first thing. Hold on, Fear. Don't hold it, because what I got to do is I got to develop an awareness, and I got to put in a new habit to replace the old habit. And the old habit is one that I'm very good at. It's very ingrained, muscular memory. I'm very good at it. It takes something to put in a new habit, which is where I can see the coaching that you provide could be useful. You've mentioned Buteyko method.
Buteyko, yeah.
I want to say a little bit of what that is, and then I want to ask you about Wim Hof and other breathing styles. And
sure, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was doing my method. I developed a method that helped me stop my thinking. That helped me ease the pain and get into the state.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to get to Buteyko now.
No, but thinking, how you developed a method that stopped you from thinking.
Yeah. I started out because, look, I was on medication, okay? I was on sulfasalazine. I was on naproxen 500, and I was getting some kind of an injection. It was all in Chelsea Westminster Hospital. I went to the rheumatoid department there, They've been scanning me twice a year because my disease is so rare. And I actually got a letter from Oxford Rheumatology Lab. I got it. I can prove it. I have copies of it. They invited me. They wanted to do research on me because in 2015, they couldn't track the thing inside of me. They wanted to know what I was doing.
Wow.
I followed the doctor's recommendation. Went on a diet. Stopped drinking. Just really started to take supplements and so on. Do sport. And so on and so forth. But still, I was in pain. And then sometimes, because those medication that I was prescribed, they gave me other side effects. Why? That's the reason why I also got into breathing, because the problem was that the medication was giving me other side effects, which were causing other problems. Like I started to get a problem with my men's health. I didn't like that. I started to get a problem with digestion. I didn't like that. So I thought, okay, I can't take this medication. So I stopped it, but then I would be in so much pain. What happened once, however, once I had 2 weeks where I had no pain and I was not on medication. So I thought, no, wait a minute. How is it possible? Because I was reading, before 2012, I was ill for 10 years prior to the diagnosis. I didn't know what was wrong with me. After I got diagnosed, I started to Google it and find out and started to read on the forums of other people who had AS. And I thought that, like from what I could read, people were writing that they were in pain constantly and I wasn't. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm not in pain constantly, maybe it's not, maybe they got it wrong. Maybe I don't have it. I started to have a doubt. Thank God to my stepmom. She's she's a psychologist. She gave me an idea. She said, well, maybe it has something to do with your head. And I thought, how can pain in my leg and in my spine have something to do with my head? Like the physical pain is there. I was just in a regular, I was not into any of the esoteric stuff. But then when I didn't have the pain for a couple of weeks, I thought, hey, maybe she's right. And she said, well, maybe you should try meditation. I was like, no, I'm not doing any meditation. I was not into meditation. I'm just a street guy. I need proof. So what happened was I decided to give it a try because I had nothing to lose.
Yep.
I got proof that for some reason, these 2 weeks, I'm not in pain. Why? Okay. So the key to the healing this is a very important factor I really want to emphasize on, was my masculine decision. I was afraid to do it, but I wrote in my diary, how do I cure myself? And I remember that I didn't, because I was afraid that it wouldn't work. So I was afraid to write something down like that. But I had nothing to lose. I didn't want to take the medication. And I thought, okay, let me try. Maybe because I did hear stories of miracles, of people healing and all of that. Yeah, we all heard them. We just don't believe it. But I thought, I'll do it. And I was determined to give it a try. And I made a commitment with myself in the diary because I took that very serious. And the minute I did that, someone recommended me, to maybe to try some meditation. I went on Amazon. You can see all of this. I can prove it if you go on Amazon and find Yantra cards by Ivan Rados. You will see that I have left a comment there in 2016 when I got the cards. It's still there. Mm-hmm. So my first ever meditation that I tried was a geometry meditation that you had to look in the dot and repeat a mantra. And that's where the first miracle happened. I managed to hypnotize myself with the mantra. And that was the first time my inner dialogue stopped. Okay? So I thought, wow. And all the pain disappeared and all of that. I described it in my book, so I'm not going to go into details. What I found out is that hypnotizing yourself with the mantra, it works when you're alone. But if you are in a business meeting and you have to talk, you can't repeat a mantra and talk. So that wasn't sustainable. And 3 weeks later, I started to get pain again. So what I did was I got a book from the same author who did the cards. Okay. And this little book is called Health. It's all about consciousness. It's a very little book. I'm reading halfway through the book, and in there, he suggests to try a lotus chakra purification meditation. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to try that. And I wasn't into chakras. I didn't know that lotus was a water lily. Okay, so I did not know how to imagine it. But I was determined to try because the mantra stuff worked. So every day I would go into my garage. And by the way, that time I was losing my startup. I was trying to save a company. So I was totally burnt out. But every day I found in my break, I would go down in my garage, lock myself up. I wouldn't tell anyone what I was doing. and I would try this meditation. And the meditation was built on 49 breaths and 7 seed syllables that you had to say, and you had to imagine the chakras opening up, as a lotus flower with different colors. That didn't work at all, okay? I have ADHD, OCD, and all of those things. Like, I cannot just sit there. I gotta do stuff, like I gotta create. Like, I just can't. So that didn't work at all. But what did work was counting the breaths. So instead of imagining lotus flowers opening up in the chakras, I would count my breaths, and later on I would add the visual part. Instead of imagining the lotus, I would imagine digits, because we can all agree that digits do exist. We can write them, and to me, I needed that proof, like something, because I didn't believe in chakras. So I needed so the proof factor for me was actually just imagining the digits and then giving the digits colors. And you know what? I found out it doesn't matter what you imagine. So let's just do a test now together, and everybody who's going to be watching then. Let's inhale now with me, just through the nose. And just exhale. Okay, and now let's do another inhale inside of your mind. You will count 1 inside of your mind with your inner voice at the time of me lifting the finger. Ready? Exhale. And now let's do that, but this time let's imagine the digit 1 and say 1 with our inner voice at the same time of the inhale. And you can close your eyes, Rich. Close your eyes, and 3, 2, inhale. Exhale. And now you're going to count 2 and imagine 2 at the exact time of your inhale. Exhale. Moving on to 3. Okay, just slowly come back and open your eyes. How was it?
It was calming.
Mm-hmm.
I did wonder how it's going to be on the video.
Okay, so let me give you like the biggest insight.
Mm-hmm.
So when we inhale and count and visualize the count all at the exact same time, you got to time it. We're actually doing 3 different actions at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And most people, there's like who practice this kind of stuff, they start out with watching the dot or watching the yantra or watching some geometry or watching an object and focusing on that object and repeating a sentence to try to stop the thinking process. But what most people get wrong is that if you focus your vision on 3 different visual objects, that's only one focus, because that's the visual focus. So in my formula, .life, I'm not going to go completely into details. It's free to learn. I have an app for it. It's on iOS only, App Store, formula.life. You can find it. Training, everything is there. There's a free version, for everybody to learn it. It's free for everybody, okay? You will actually focus attention on 7 different objects when you do my formula. What does it give you? It stops your thinking, it gets you to the silence fast, and it will train you to have the most amazing overview of your life, and you can focus on many, many, many things at the same time. You train yourself on a micro level, and it will reflect into your life, okay? You asked me about Buteyko. Sorry I had to go away, but because that's how I got to breathe Buteyko. Because, when I was breathing there in my garage for hundreds of hours in the beginning, and my life started to change, I had people starting, didn't want to, like, the people that usually spend time with me, they didn't want to, like, they fell off because I started to change. People didn't like that change. I started to get healthy, and I lost some people due to that, which is okay. I thought that I have genuinely reinvented the wheel. I did not know there was holotropic breathing. I did not know about Wim Hof. I didn't know there was rebirthing. I didn't know there was Buteyko. I did not know there was coherent breathing. I did not know about pranayama. I was not into that stuff. I'm a tech guy who solves problems. Okay? And then I thought, okay, I was going to bring it to market, because some people were asking me, what are you doing? Because suddenly I could fall asleep in the middle of, like, we were taking off or landing or in a turbulence in a plane. I was with colleagues. They were asking me, what are you doing? I couldn't explain to them how I was counting, how I was singing. I thought, I got to record this. So I started to develop an app, and by 2019, actually 2018, we launched the app. But by that time, I was going to market with the app. I thought, I'm not going to be a breathing coach because I'm doing my tech stuff. I'll just release an app for everybody, and then they'll know how to do it. Easy. So I've built this app. I was building it for 3 years. It's all made around my method, and my marketing person told me, hey, Theo, maybe you should look into any other breathing modalities and see what's out there, because he was researching it. And I started to look, and I thought, oh my God, there's so much. The first one I encountered was holotropic breathing. This is what Wim Hof's method is based on, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? I didn't invent anything. Everything has already been there for all of them, for Wim Hof, for everybody. It's been there for thousands of years. It's all about the packaging. I mean, cold plunges, Wim Hof, come on. We had that in the Soviet Union. Like, I did that when I was an infant. The Finnish had the sauna. Come on. It's been known. It's just all about the packaging. And so is my method. The reason I called it formula is because I practiced Kung Fu for many, many years. And my Sifu, he told me, because we have this form, and he told me this is a formula. And I thought, what I'm doing, I didn't know how to call it. What I'm doing, I realized, yes, it's based on the meditation of the lotus, but it's a formula where you combine 7 different actions in one. So it is a formula, and the reason why I called it formula.live is because when we're doing my method, we're counting. That's living for me. We count everything. We're speaking. Okay, that's living. We're breathing. That's living. We're visualizing. That's living. Okay. So actually, when you do my formula, you are living the moment as never before. That's what I've been doing. That's what made me heal. It's living the moment without a description and breaking the description completely apart. Okay. So coming back to Buteyko, I thought, yeah, Dr. Buteyko, Ukrainian born. He was in Russia, in Moscow, in the Soviet Union. The biggest scientifically proven method on this planet. James Nestor also mentioned him in his book. He was able to get rid of hypertension and fixed asthma because, well, he realized the problem is with big breaths going through the mouth is the major, stressor in the body. Okay. This was in the Soviet times. So I thought that's what I want to certify in. For some reason, I don't know, I aligned with that. And that's what I did. The best thing I ever did was get rid of the terrible mouth breathing.
Well, I'm gonna take that on. Right?
Okay, so but let me just I want to have this little masterclass in this video because because you have it and everybody who's gonna watch just want to give it to you. I have a course for it and everything. You can find it on my website. I have a big presence on Udemy, but it's so easy. Okay, so when I was retraining, because I'm a problem solver. Okay, I had AS. I gotta solve the problem. I have solved a lot of problems in my life, business wise, work wise. This is just another problem that I needed to solve. So I came up with a method. This maybe my ego. I don't know what it is. I just gotta do it on my own, my way. That's what happened. So when I was certifying in for Buteyko, and the instructor said you gotta get rid of that mouth breathing, they didn't give me any technique. Okay, but I did study for it, and it turns out, why is the nose breathing so important? Why is it so important to eliminate the mouth breathing? Buteyko has based his method on something which is called the Virigo-Bohr effect. Virigo and Bohr is 2 different scientists, okay, that proven the same thing at the same time. So that's why, well, in the Western world, they say the Bohr effect. In the Russian-speaking space, they say Virigo-Bohr because Virigo was our scientist, okay? What did they prove? They proved that in order for oxygen to penetrate the cells better, they need carbon dioxide. They need carbon dioxide. The mouth breathing does not produce any carbon dioxide. It spits it out. The only way you can accumulate carbon dioxide in the body is by breathing less, very gently. That's what Buteyko has based his method on. And his main thing is called VLGD. It's elimination, voluntary elimination of deep breathing. And it's not easy to do his method because you gotta breathe. Let's say that if we inhale, if this is 100% of your normal inhale, you gotta cut it down to like 90%. You gotta stop yourself. Like, let's say that you want to inhale a certain amount of air, and that gives you satisfaction. Like, that gives you satisfaction. You got to cut that satisfaction down and down and down. So it's actually pretty boring. And for me, it was just so boring because I like my thing is with music, with emotions. I'm a very emotional guy. That was so boring. So I came up with something. Coming back to this carbon dioxide, for the hemoglobin protein to detach. No, from the oxygen molecule to detach itself from the hemoglobin protein, or I hope that I don't get it wrong. I'm not really great with theory. Basically, it needs carbon dioxide to detach. Now, there are four molecules as a pair, so 8 molecules of oxygen which attach to the hemoglobin. So there is this number 4, okay, as a pair, 8. And because I have studied a lot of esoteric stuff since I started doing my breath work, it kind of, because you have an awakening, you start dreaming, you start to get out of body experiences. And I had a near-death experience. The world really has changed. I have, the reason why some people turned away from me is because I became a freak. I freaked out. I had a freak out period. It's normal, okay? I don't blame them. It's fine. I did become a freak. That's what happens. But why I mention this is because that I've learned about the 4 directions. 4 directions. We have the south and east and west and so on. 4 seasons. There is this 4 always. So automatically somehow I developed this method which I call 1, 2, 3, 4 to eliminate the mouth breathing, and it goes like this. You inhale for 1 and you just say 2, 3, 4. Come with me. Inhale. 2, 3. Yeah, sing with me. And you exhale all the way in 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale again. 2, 3. Now, usually, we are in my lab now.
Mm-hmm.
Just to show you, I'm in the breathing lab. Okay, this is where I see people. So I have this thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it is?
Metronome.
Yeah. Okay, that's a bit too slow for me. 1 tact inhale, and then you split up the exhale into 3 parts. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That is a natural algorithm of this reality because everything is based on 4. Okay, so let's try it. 2, 3. Maybe that's a bit too fast. That's a bit slower.
Well, I want to move this on, Fyodor, because I'm conscious of the time, right? So this is what you offer people. Now, you do this in person, but also people can do it online, because I'll have viewers from all over the world over Zoom.
Look, yes, I do have an in-person. I love to be in person. I'm tired of online. Everything that I've spoken about today, plus much more, is online. I have courses which are on fyodorbriefing.tech or on Udemy, wherever you want to study. I prefer if you come on my website because I don't have to pay the commission to those guys.
Yep.
And if you purchase anything from my website, you will have my support and contact to me at all times. Okay. Now, I specialize in retraining the mouth breathing. This is a real world problem that I kind of market. Okay. But my specialty is silence. And my biggest selling course is called Where is the Silence? Okay. Because there is a lot more to that than just what I've said here to reach instant inner silence. Okay. Since then, I've studied I have a great master. I've reached, I think, a pretty high level. I'm very happy with it. I'm not looking or seeking anything anymore. Okay. And what I want, like, my message to everybody who's going to be watching this, like, before you get into any silence, any meditation, any spiritual work, fix your mouth breathing, because by fixing the mouth breathing, you will start to train your attention. And attention is the key to all the magic. Attention is the key to inner silence and everything else, like, which is considered maybe magical in this reality. Okay. And the easiest part to do, because I started backwards, but I came eventually to eliminating the mouth breath, and I realized that is what everybody should start with. First that, because we're all used to physical exercises. That's easy and understandable for all of us. So when we do 1, 2, 3, 4, which I just demonstrated now, you will be changing the way you speak and moving your jaw on a physical level, and you will be training your attention by doing always this inhale. And, you know, building your speech 2, 3, 4 is equal to saying, I am Theo, teaching how to breathe. Okay?
Mhm.
By that, you will be training your attention so that you can move forward and higher into the really advanced and very interesting and fun stuff, so that you can do magic and you can do dreaming and all of these amazing things that we as human beings all have the ability to do, which we just have forgotten because the world is not real and it's made up by I don't know who. When we come into it, it's absolutely the description of what we think about the world is completely not what we really can experience it as human beings, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Well, that was the next thing I wanted to get into, because you mentioned the link between breathing and consciousness.
Yes. I'm on a mission to help expand human consciousness. This was the first video that was launched on my YouTube channel. I had a team working with me back then. We launched my breathing app, and they have this message. The video starts with this message. Was actually a message to the person who was working with me. I wasn't planning to do a video on it, so I was telling him that I'm on a mission to help expand human consciousness. Now, consciousness, it's not academia. It's not the knowledge and the facts and all of the things that you can know and repeat and can reproduce. It's not that. Real expansion of consciousness is done through inner silence. There's no other way, because it's an understanding and knowing things without being able to describe them. Okay? That is what expanding of consciousness is, and that is my mission. How do we do that? Well, because as I mentioned, life is happening between the 700 plus million breath cycles every single day, every single minute, every single second. So we got to start with the breathing. Okay, we got to look in there, give it time, work on it bit by bit, and that is going to open up the gap that we have between our thought train, because the thought train does never stop. It's moving and moving and moving. So what you want to do to expand the consciousness is to break that distance. If you can imagine the train with carts moving, yeah, they're connected. There's a gap in between. So through breathing, I was able to expand that distance between the carts and break up the carts completely and reach complete inner silence. And the way that we can have an impact on the world, really have a serious impact and see through all the bullshit, okay, is every one of us starts to just pay a little bit attention to our breathing, because everybody can do it. And I hope that this interview, this video will give you why you will get your own truth. Everybody's, truth is inside without any description, just by addressing your breath. And if all of us on this planet start to address the breath, we can really change the course of where we are headed. It's so simple. It's just so simple. I do understand that it's hard and people need to work and pay bills and all of that. Yeah, I'm also just a normal guy. I'm just a normal person. Okay? But it's so easy.
If I pay attention to my breathing, then my health will improve, my performance will improve, my thinking will improve. My performance improves.
Absolutely.
And my life will improve, because my cells are getting oxygen at a much more efficient level.
Absolutely. So you notice how much air I have to. I'm a talker. I talk a lot. But how little I breathe to talk so much.
Yes. Compared to me, I'm noticing that I'm having to catch myself.
Yeah, everybody's like that. So you see, it will prolong your life. It's not a fact that we get a longer life because we can get hit by a car and die at any time. I'm not saying that breathing less is going to extend your life. Well, it will definitely give you more life.
Until, between now and when that car knocks me over.
Absolutely. Also, it will save you time. Look, we have time and space here. This is what I'm taught in Kung Fu, because we don't have time to spar in my Kung Fu. We attack the attack. So we have no time and space. We have a finite amount of breaths. They're not unlimited. So once we start to pay attention what's going on with the breathing between the inhale and the exhale, we will actually see that, we're wasting too much time on all sorts of things that we really are not necessary. So you start to cut them out. You start to cut some people out. You start to cut out so much out of your life. I don't want to sound like an asshole or a selfish guy, but this is true. You start to really appreciate a lot of other things, and you really appreciate and value the time that you're given here on this planet through the breath, So you will actually have more time. That's what people tell me. I don't have time to do breathing exercises. I'm busy. I was like you. I was a busy tech startupper. I didn't have time for anything, but I had a real problem I needed to solve. But you know what? I noticed very quickly that the more time I gave to doing that breathing exercise, and my formula, it's a 7 times 7 breaths, it's 49 breaths, takes 7 minutes to just do one cycle. So the more time I've spent to do that one cycle, the more time I got for anything else. And now that's how I'm living. I can do anything I want. I'm doing everything I want. I sleep in. I do what I want when I want. I got all the time that I needed, and I've done it just through the breathing. It just takes time, okay?
It takes time to relearn the habit.
Yeah, give it time. Give it time, but it's worth it. I promise you, because you will be closer to your own being through your own breathing, like never before.
Well, oxygen is very worth it. It's very
absolutely. You will get more oxygen to the cells. And then to all the women out there, and to all the men who likes to look pretty, who likes to take care of themselves, who likes to be healthy, when you shift to the nose breathing, we talked about taping the, but if you just shift to nose breathing and breathing always through your nose throughout your day, you will get air here. So your face will look prettier. You will be fresher, because when you breathe through the mouth, you don't get any oxygen really there up where you need it. When you breathe through the nose, you get oxygen. It goes all the way here. So you will just look better. Okay.
Yeah. And just on that, no, we're going to finish up, right? Just on that.
Sure.
It's something we talked about when we met, because I have tried it.
Yeah.
Recommended something. Is there anything you want to say before we finish up?
I have dedicated myself. I've spent a fortune on bringing this up to you. It's completely a non-profit thing for me. I mean, I'd love it to be, but it's not, just because it has changed my life completely. I'm healthier than ever. I feel younger than ever. I'm going to be 44 this year. I'm not on any medication. Okay. Yes, I have to keep it in remission. It's a factor of several things that makes me healthy, not only just the breathing, but the breathing has given me everything. Okay. I've put it all out there for you. My method is free to learn. I have courses, would be great if you support me, but I have a lot of free stuff on my YouTube. I just released the art of breathing. Everybody can try and do the breathing. Try it. You need to try it and experience in order to believe. I know that many people don't believe and saying to me, what do you mean you're teaching people how to breathe? I know how to breathe. Yeah, everybody's kind of still there, but hopefully you can see that you can breathe differently. And if you're breathing like that, it means that you're living like that. So just change your breathing and really start living the way that you want, because God has given you the ability to control your breath. And it means that you have the ability to control your life and do whatever you want with it. And it all starts and ends with your breath.
Fyodor, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. And I have the links to your YouTube and your X and your websites and your Telegram, and people can look up the free material. But there's value in one-to-one coaching.
Absolutely. There is. So come to me. I'd be delighted to coach you, to retrain you. Actually, those who come to my coaching have the best results, because I guarantee that in 1 month, with my method and the way that I coach, it's all done online. Even if you come and see me in person, we still do it in the messenger afterwards because nobody has time. I've developed a way to retrain you and restart the habit. It takes 28 days to form and shape a new habit. Once that cycle is started, it will be with you like forever. So come and see me.
Fabulous. Fyodor, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Please share this far and wide. And between now and when I see you next,
absolutely,
fill your hearts and souls with oxygen.
Yes, absolutely.
Crypto Rich and Oxygen Fyodor signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.